Chapter 9, Lobbing Accusations. The tragic pickleball game engulfed the 4 survivors like a dark cloud. Every question from Exuma, every sidelong glimpse from the staff, every hushed conversation seemed like a clue or a threat. As the hours passed and the pressure continued to mount, cracks started forming in emotions, in relationships, and in little details. Shane caught Becca murmuring to herself as she scrolled through her phone. He barely caught the words, "At least I won't have to move now." His stomach roiled. Move where? What's going on with her? Meanwhile, Kyle noticed Shane stumble over his words when talking about Jared. He had savings, Shane said, then hesitated before adding, "Not that I know much about that." But Kyle knew Shane was meticulous with money. Could he have had a motive that no one had considered? Robin had been watching Kyle. When Exuma asked about the morning of the deaths, Kyle claimed he had gone for a long walk before breakfast. But Robin had been awake early that day. She never saw him leave. Why would he be mixing up details like that? Becca studied Shane with interest. He was too calm, too calculated. She wasn't sure if he was covering for himself or trying to piece things together like she was. Robin seemed nervous in ways that weren't just grief. She started rambling about a specific poison and its symptoms, casually dropping details that Exuma had never shared with the group. The room went quiet for a split second before Robin quickly brushed off the side looks she received, claiming she had learned it during a forensics rotation in med school. By the time evening fell, the tension was unbearable. Kyle had poured himself several drinks, and with each sip, his emotions frayed. "You did it, didn't you?" His voice was sharp, accusing. Robin turned, startled. "What?" "You killed him," Kyle spat, his face red with anger. "Jay was my best friend, and you..." Shane stepped in. "Kyle, stop. We don't know." "No! I want to hear her answer." Kyle's voice wavered. "You wanted him gone. You said so yourself, just so you can live out your little bookstore dream." Robin's face paled. "That's not what happened." Becca suddenly exhaled sharply, placing her hands flat on the table. "I need to tell you all something," she said, her voice shaking, eyes wide. The others turned to her, the weight of her tone pulling them into silence. I killed Reggie," she admitted, her eyes welling with tears. "I poisoned his wine. I couldn't do it again. I can't move back to Germany. I found out he had already applied and I just couldn't." Robin's breath hitched. "But the others, Jay, Jared, Carlos." Becca's face crumbled as she let out a sob. "I don't know. Skibbity, he knocked over Reggie's wine glass. Jay, Jared, and Carlos were sitting closest to him. What if they were poisoned by accident? I tried so hard to get up and clean it before anyone else. What if it spread before I cleaned it? What if they accidentally ingested it? I never meant... Oh God, I never meant for this to happen." She covered her face with her hands, her shoulders shaking as she slid down the floor crying. The room was eerily silent as everyone was struggling to come to terms with this bombshell. Shane ran a hand through his hair, his pulse pounding. "Oh my God," he muttered under his breath. His logical brain struggled to process what Becca had just confessed. He opened his mouth to speak, but couldn't find the words. Kyle's breathing was uneven. "So you're saying Reggie was the only one you meant to..." He stopped, his voice catching. He looked to Robin and Shane, searching for their reactions, his own emotions too raw to fully grasp. Robin pressed a trembling hand to her lips, shaking her head slowly. "This isn't happening," she whispered. She forced herself to look at Becca, who was still sobbing into her hands. "Becca, do you understand what you're saying?" Becca let out a choked sob. I don't know. I just wanted Reggie gone. I never meant for anyone else. Oh, God. Oh, God." Her body shook as she pulled her knees to her chest, curling inward as if she could disappear into herself. Shane, Kyle, and Robin exchanged wide-eyed glances, the realization finally setting in like a stone in their stomachs. One planned murder had turned into 4.